Hi everyone! The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to graph a piecewise defined function on ALEKS. And this happens to be problem type 1. And usually I tell my students to graph these functions on paper first before graphing them on the computer right into ALEKS. However, for a piecewise defined function like this, where you can see that every output is just a number, I think you probably would be okay graphing it on ALEKS right away. So the key is to not get overwhelmed because this looks complicated. And remember, even though it looks complicated, g of x is just y. So this is basically saying y equals -2. And y equals -2 is just a horizontal line. It's a horizontal line here, y equals -2. So essentially, we're being asked to just graph a nice horizontal line, but not the whole line. We only want to graph it where x is in between -2.5 and -1.5. So to graph a horizontal line that's going to have a start and an ending point, that means it's really a line segment. So we'll use this line segment tool. And again, we're going to go let our y value be equal to -2. And then our x value needs to be -2.5. So here y equals -2 and the x value is -2.5. And then again, it's just going to be this nice horizontal line that's going to go all the way until x is equal to -1.5. So that's going to be a little horizontal line segment. And then because we have this less than sign instead of less than or equal to, that means we don't want to include -2.5. So we're going to put an open dot on that side. And then less than or equal to -1.5 means we do want to include x equals -1.5. So we'd have a closed dot on the right-hand side. And that's our first piece. So then we go back to the second piece, y equals -1. That's another horizontal line, and we only want the piece between -1.5 and -0.5. So we'll choose that line segment tool again, and once again we want y to equal -1. So if I go down to where y equals -1, that's all along this horizontal line, but I want my x value to be from -1.5 here until x equals -0.5. So that's the little line segment that I'm wishing for. And then again, a less than sign here with the -1.5 indicates that we would do an open dot because we do not want to include it. But the less than or equal to sign on the -0.5 is inclusive, so we would do a solid dot so that we include it. Our next piece is y equals 0. So y equals 0 is again horizontal line here at y equals 0. That actually is the x-axis. And this one we want between x equals -0.5 and x equals +0.5. Now this one's a little different because we see a less than sign here and a less than sign also on the other side, and neither one of those is equal to, so we'll be doing open dots on both of those endpoints. Next we've got y equals 1. So we'll do a horizontal line at y equals 1 along here. That would be the entire horizontal line. But we only want it to go from x equals 0.5 to x equals 1.5. Less than or equal to means we'll do a solid dot on the left-hand side. And then less than 1.5 means an open dot on 1.5. And finally, y equals +2. So horizontal line of y equals +2. But this one is only going to start at 1.5 and then go to x equals 2.5. We have a less than or equal to sign here with the 1.5, so that's a solid dot on 1.5. And then less than 2.5 makes this an open dot on the x equals 2.5 coordinate, which is the right-hand side. So this is actually what we call a step function because we have a bunch of little horizontal steps, kind of looks like a bunch of stairs, but this is a piecewise defined function that has several parts, but it turns out all of the parts are just little pieces of horizontal lines. Check it just to be sure, cross our fingers, and yes, we did it correctly. I hope that helps.